Hey everybody, welcome to the third step on the journey to a better life. First of all, guys, I want to congratulate you all for going through and getting through those first two steps. They were not easy. They were simple though. I hope you agree with me. All the things which we discussed and learned were simple, but they're not easy to start working on. And today, we're gonna go through something special in this third step. This something which helped me through my life a lot. Like if we would take 100% of things which helped me to increase quality of my life, I would say that thing what I'm gonna be talking about today have increased that quality of my life by 50%. I'm serious. So stick with this video, go with me through this journey of the knowledge and practicing stuff which we're gonna go through today's step, and you will be equipped with something special. Before we do though, I want to recap on the things which we have learned, because again it's very relevant to the things we're going to be talking about today. So first thing what we learned with you, that there are some beliefs which actually determine quality of our lives. There are disempowering and empowering beliefs, the ones which can actually trigger some disempowering actions and empowering actions. And based on those beliefs, we take those disempowering or empowering actions. Depending on that though, we create our success cycle, which going up and increasing all the time, or going down and decreasing all the time. At the same time, we have learned what is the identity. We defined our true identity. We have figured out what is missing in our true identity in order for us to become someone whom we need to become in order to achieve those things we want to achieve. What is common thing for all those three things what I have just listed? Disempowering and empowering beliefs, disempowering actions and empowering actions, and your identity and what kind of identity we want to build. Well, the common thing in between all three of those are the actionable items which you guys had to come up with as a result of working with all those templates and going through the practicing exercises. Because if you worked properly with your disempowering and empowering beliefs, as a result, you gotta have empowering beliefs list. And based on that list, you had to come up with actionable items, with actual actions, which you need to take to reinforce those empowering beliefs. From the exercise, when we were thinking about disempowering and empowering actions, you had to figure out what kind of disempowering actions do you have at the moment and come up with the empowering ones which you have to start doing most of the days in order to replace them with, replace those disempowering actions. And that's again another list of actions. And then we worked on the identity and we figured out what is missing, we figured out what is true, and we figured out what is not being used. We put it all kind of together and we created the identity, what you want to be and who you want to become in order to achieve things. And then we have come up with another list of actions. Now we combine it all, and what we have as a result? The list of structured, well thought through, actionable items. What can be better? We actually learned with you guys how to change your beliefs. We have learned with you how to expand your identity. And we have learned with you of how to change and improve your actions and create empowering actions out of them. Basically change your actions. What do you left with? And what is the next step for you guys? Easy. The next step is actually take those actions which you have come up with. How easy is that? But remember what I just said? I mean, how simple is that? But remember what I said in the beginning of this session? Anything which is simple, not all the time easy. You see, even with knowing all this, even if having actionable items, list of actionable items in front of us, 90%, and this is statistics, I'm not saying that, but this is statistics. 90% of us, 90 people out of 100 will procrastinate and will still not take those actions. So my goal today, and today's theme of this conversation, is to improve your probability to actually take the action by 50%, guys. I mentioned it before as well. How great would it be? Would you like to increase the probability of you actually taking that action and getting those results which you deserve and you wish for? I think that would be awesome. That's why today I called my step, the third step, the power of state of your mind and state of your body, and magic triangle formula. All right? And it's all gonna be coming together and you're gonna be equipped with something special. Okay? So let's continue. So we're gonna talk about actions. So if actions are only step we need to take, what holding us back? We have that list, and yet 90% of us will not take it. No, I wanna beat those odds, guys. I wanna improve those odds by teaching you something special. And that special is coming up. But for now, let's come back to the actions. Even having that list, what is holding us back? My answer to you is fear. Fear is something which stops us. You see, fear has this power to destroy our psychology, our mindset. And remember, psychology and the mindset is one top thing of 3 steps to the freedom. It's what we need, and we need to strengthen it in order to use it to get those old strategies and develop all the habits to get any results in any area of our life. But if fear destroys our mindset, our psychology, we are not able to do that. The same way happens with actions. Fear prevents us of making any action. Let's talk about the fears a little bit. We all experience different kind of fears when we go through the life. And we actually, as a matter of fact, we experience like combination of fears. I will give you an example. Fear of not being loved, fear of not being enough, fear of success, fear of losing love, fear of being loved, fear of failure, and so on and so on. We all experience those fears throughout our life. I have 2 news for you guys. The first one is bad and the second one is good. The first one, which is bad, is you cannot get rid of fears. Period. No one in the world can. The fears will still be there. The good news is you still can break through them. You can break through your fears and you still can do those things which you want to do, and they will not stop you anymore. And today we're about to learn how. How does that sound? That sound good? All right. So how do we actually break through the fears? Well, we put ourselves in a special state, as I call it. And we will define this state a little bit further down the line during today's step. For now, let me just talk about the state without any definitions, but by giving you very good examples of what state is. For me, and let's start calling the state is something which kind of determines how do you feel, what do you feel, what your thoughts are, what kind of environment you are in, and a lot of different elements around you as a result create your state. We live and we kind of travel through different levels of state, I would say. And I call it temperature. Not like literal temperature of our body and mind, but the temperature of your state, I call it. And let's say the average temperature of your state is 100 degrees, right? This is the average. When you kind of feel good, you are mostly have positive emotions and you quite active as you think, and you go through the life. But there are some other states and the degrees of the temperature. So let's say average, as I said, is hungry. The top might be 200, but there is also the bottom, which might be 50. So going through the life, we kind of travel through those states, and I will illustrate you with an example. Imagine yourself going to the seminar, and hopefully a lot of you have been in the seminars and you can really feel and imagine that feeling which you had when you went to the seminar. Or maybe webinar, or maybe you just bought the course similar to this one and you went through the course. Try to remember and imagine what kind of feelings, what kind of emotions did you have while going through that? And imagine that experience where you were elevated, you were lifted, you were spiritually excited, you were emotionally excited, you really loved what you heard during that presentation, you really appreciated it, you really understood it, you really wanted it to implement it into your life, and you were so ready to do that. You communicated with the people around you. You loved the atmosphere, you loved the environment and everything, and you had such a great time. And you were so committed to actually keep doing it, using this knowledge which you just got during this seminar. And yet, as soon as you left that seminar, you sat in the car, you got the call, I don't know, from your wife or the partner or the spouse or your family or friends or whatever, and they ask you to, I don't know, pick up your kids from the school, or maybe they ask you to go and buy some groceries or some other daily routines which you have already performed before. It's your kind of average, right? You came over home and maybe you still had this energy and that excitement from the course, from the seminar, and you started to share this experience with your family, and some of your family would just even let you down and say, hey, come on, Igor, what are you talking about? This is kind of a waste of time. Why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep going to those seminars? And you heard that and you kind of, oh my goodness, you got this, you got this fear in you right away. Fear of being rejected just because you went to that seminar and you got a little bit more knowledge. And the fear lets your temperature down to your average, which is 100 degrees. But what happened with you during that seminar? Why were you so committed? Why were you so ready to go and take an action? And then as soon as you got home, you already forgot about it. You got pushed down. It's just because during the seminar, your temperature of your body and of your mind from the spiritual emotional perspective got lifted from your average 100 to your 200, and you were leaving that state during that seminar, and that state helped you to generate those thoughts, those actions, and imagine those potential results you could get as a result of just learning these new things today during that seminar. But as soon as you got home, by someone else or in your environment and your thoughts and the actions which you used to perform on a daily basis, your temperature dropped and dropped to those back to those 100 degrees, your average. Why? Because of your fears. Because you have felt the temperature of 200. It got a little too hot for you, literally. And you thought it might get too hot for others around you, meaning they might be afraid of your change, or they might not accept you because of your change, and we have touched upon this topic in the previous steps. And that's why you got back to your comfort zone, your emotional home, your 100 degrees. How crazy is that, right? Another example, the opposite, how your state can actually drop, how your temperature can drop from 100 to 50. Let's take a look at you at work or at university, at school, anywhere you come up and you got to the problem, to the issue, to the obstacle in front of you. Do you remember yourself getting so focused on that it actually became your world for a while, and you live only through that problem, through that issue. You see everything from that problem, through that issue. And as a result, you become irritated. You became anxious. You got stressful. You feel angry because you cannot solve that problem. And then now all of a sudden, there is time to go home. What you do is, you take this state, because it's already dropped. I mean, it's average. You've been average and now it's dropped to 50 degrees. As soon as you started to get angry, get upset, and get caught up in all this situation, and it became your world. And now with this temperature, you sit in your car and you drive home. You get into the traffic jam and you get so frustrated and so pissed off. You start beeping around, you start swearing at people. You basically hate everyone around you. Then in this state, you come home with this temperature. What you do? Well, you might even scream at your kids, if you have kids, or you might have the conflict or the arguments with your partner. Why? Because it's their fault? Because something they did? No, because you are in that state, in this lowered state, in the state where the temperature is 50. And now you're trying to get everyone back to that state, push them down, scream at them, getting pissed off of your kids, not playing with them, saying you're busy, but yet being just angry and being in this state. How crazy is that? Right? Our average state, we can elevate it and then it can get dropped. And people and ourselves can get hurt because of it. We can get inspired because of elevation, but at the same time, we still on average come back to our average. Let's take a look at these examples from even deeper perspective. What would happen with you during that seminar when you are so elevated, you're so excited, you're so convinced, you're so confident, you're so courageous? When someone comes to you and asks you to do something which you usually have fear for, what would be the probability of you actually doing it while you're in this state? Let's say someone say, hey, based on this knowledge, let's start a new project. And before that, you had the fear. When you were average, you had this fear to start something new because you had the fear of failure. But now, when you elevate a state and you have this knowledge, you have this emotion and people around you, and someone offers you to start something, what would you say? Well, the probability of you saying yes would be a lot higher in this state, don't you think? I hope you get it. At the same time, let's come back to that state of 50 degrees where your average state was, lower it down just by you feeling different kind of feelings and emotions. What would you say when you were that angry and upset and pissed off at everyone if someone would offer you something which you fear? Like that same project. Hey, let's do that, dude. Let's do that project. Or the girl, let's do that project. What would you say? Well, most probably you would reject that. You would get even more mad, more upset because of that. And you would push those people away. And that's all just because of what state you are in. Can you imagine that? It all depends on what kind of states you are in. So now, based on these examples, I want to ask you, what would you need to do? What do we need to do in order to break those fears? In order to take that step? In order to take that action when we know what to do? Well, we need to put ourselves into this state. And in perfect case scenario, in perfect life, we want to make sure we live and elevate ourselves at any point of time to that level of 200 degrees. And at some point of our life, we need to make sure this 200 degrees become our average. And then we start working our way up and heat ourselves even more. With that, I'm saying we have to do anything and everything which would prolong that elevated state, which we're more likely we feel ourselves, we are alive, and we would act up on something we want to act up on. We have the calling for. How great would it be? What do you think? Well, I have the magic formula. That's where the magic triangle formula come into the place. It's a lucky day for you guys today. I am serious. I know the way. How would you control your state completely? Before that though, let's define what the state actually is. And the state is the set of feelings of emotions which you have at that particular moment. How crazy is that? That's the set of feelings and emotions which you have at the moment. Remember yourself in that example of the seminar. What kind of feelings and emotions did you have? Probably all those positive ones, right? You felt happy, you felt courageous, you felt interested, you felt excited, right? And that emotional state have elevated you. At the same time, remember yourself that what did you feel when you were, stuck on those issues and problems and obstacles, which kind of created this little bubble around you, and then you didn't see the entire world around you. You were so focused on that bubble. What did you feel then? Well, anger, anxiety, frustrations, and all those things. So this is set of emotion. I have good and bad news again for you guys. Emotions kind of abstract thing, and maybe you don't feel like you know and understand them. Well, it's kind of bad news. But the good news is you can change those emotions with the snap of your fingers that fast. As a matter of fact, anything we do in our life, anything we want to get, is something where we expect some kind of feeling or emotions we will get out of it. Not actual thing interested us. If we want a house, if we want to be a billionaire, if we want to get the car, or anything we want to get somewhere in future, we are anticipating those feelings and emotions we're going to get with it while getting that material thing. And the crazy part is, we can feel and experience those emotions and feelings today without actually waiting for getting those things. I'm serious about it. And that's where this triangle, the magic triangle formula, comes into place. I'm going to introduce you today with 3 things which you have to master in order to change your state, to change your emotions. With those 3 tools, you will be able to change your emotions at any point of your time. And if you practice them long enough, you will be able to master your state and live most of your life into the elevated state where anything can happen and where all the actions are possible and where all fears are diminished and conquered. How great is that? Are you ready for those 3 things? Okay, let me list them up. Let me talk about them a little bit, and then we're going to dive deep into each one of them even more. The first thing, are you ready? The first thing is your physiology. The way you use your body. It might surprise you, but listen to this. What is the emotion? Because we're talking about emotions right now, right? Emotions actually are creating our state. And the state help us to do something or not do something, to break through the fears or not, or give up and give in into the fears, right? So what has to do with our physiology? Well, emotion is being created by motion, as simply as that. Think about it. What is emotion? It's energy, E, plus motion. So when you have energy and you move, you use your body and it becomes your physiology. And this physiology and this motion creates emotion. So whatever you feel right now at this moment depends on how do you use your body. How do you use your body? Including your face, by the way. And now, again, imagine yourself at that seminar, at that example where we had. How did you feel? How did you use your body? Well, you probably wanted to feel great. At the same time, you want to show off a little bit. So you held your back straight. You know, your shoulders were kind of a little back, and you held your head up, and you were kind of standing in this, hero kind of power pose, because you wanted to show yourself to someone, or maybe everybody. If it was not you, maybe someone touched you by the shoulder, grabbed you and asked you some questions during the breaks. So you used somehow your physicality, your physiology, you moved your body certain way. And that was contribution to that state which you got yourself in as a result, and where you wanted to actually use this knowledge and were ready to commit. The same now, imagine yourself in that situation when we were trying to solve that problem and get stuck on that issue and get pissed off at everyone. How did you feel, and how did you use your body? Well, probably your head was down a little bit, your shoulders were kind of forward, your chest were inwards, and overall your face was kind of a little, grumpy. That's what your physiology was. And that contributed to the overall emotion which you had. Isn't it crazy? As a matter of fact, there are studies done, right? And what they have proved is, if the person who is upset or angry at the moment would stand up, get their shoulders back, get the chest forward, stand in this power pose, hero pose as I call it, lift a little bit their head and chin, do something with their hand, whatever this hero pose is, and stand in this pose just for 2 minutes after being mad, upset, and super angry and frustrated, the chemistry of the body would change for 50% and will change this emotional state as a result. Imagine how powerful your physiology is. We're going to get to the physiology even more. But for now, this is one thing you have to master in, because the motion creates your emotion, and emotion creates your state. The second thing, the second piece of that magic triangle formula is your focus and your beliefs. You see, we already learned about beliefs, right? We learned that we have these empowering beliefs, and now we are skilled to actually come up with empowering ones, and then actually come up with actionable items to reinforce those empowering ones. But now, let's talk about the focus. The focus equals feeling. Just write it down if you write in the notes, by the way. The focus equals feelings, and I will explain you why. Whatever you focus on, and you are very persistent at that, and you do it often, becomes your belief. It becomes something you believe in, even if it's not truth. It becomes true for you, not for overall world, but only for you. So whatever you focus on actually becomes your reality, although actuality around you is different. That is the reason in that situation when you got stuck but there is the obstacle in front of you, what did you do? You focused on that so bad. Remember I mentioned you got kind of in this bubble, and the bubble got created literally around you. This world, for that second, for that moment, or maybe for the prolonged period of time, just because you put enough focus in it. I will explain you how focus works and what focus does with your mind in order for you to understand it even better. And I love this example, and I use this example a lot. You probably have seen this example and watched that example in one of my videos on my social profiles. But I was still going to go with it because it illustrates how focus and what focus does with our mind. So imagine you bought the car, or if you never bought the car in your life, imagine you bought Snickers for yourself, or some kind of piece of clothing, right? Your dress, or your shoes, or your pants, or whatever. As soon as you bought it, that same day, you all of a sudden started to see that same clothes or that same car, the same color, mark, and model almost at every corner on the streets. Or a lot of people around you, almost like every single or every third or every fourth or every other person would wear that same piece of clothing which you have bought for yourself. The question to you is, were those clothes there before on those people? Or were those scars there on the streets before? And the obvious answer is yes, they were. Now, have you seen them? No, you haven't. Why is that? It's just because you see your mind works and helps you on something which is important to you. And before that, before you purchased that, the mind was thinking and was under impression it's not important to you. So the mind was skipping it kind of. The mind did not put the focus on that. As soon as you bought it, as soon as you got it in your possession, you put the full focus on it. And for the mind it became clear, oh my God, that's what she or he wants. So let's give him more of that. The mind works that way. Two main functions of the mind: to protect you and give you what you want. So mind now gives you, in a way it thinks it gives you, to see all those scars. Here we go. Get more, Igor, because you just bought one the same thing and that's important to you. Or get piece of clothes. Look how many of them around there. The mind helps you out. So that's how the mind works, right? So whatever you put the focus on becomes your world and belief, because your mind starts to get more of it to you. In the situation when you were upset and angry and you were so focused on that and concentrated your attention to that problem and that issue, it became so important for your mind as well, and the mind gave more of it. It helped you to get more those negative emotions which surround you, lower its state. All right? Makes sense? So that's why your focus and your beliefs play a crucial role in actually creating your state and working with your emotions. All right, that was the second one. The third one is the words and language you use and the meaning you create. You see, the words which you say, they create the meaning, but the meaning creates feelings and emotions, therefore impacts the whole package and the whole state of yours. Again, let's come back to those examples. And I hope you're not tired to coming back to those examples, but they illustrate all those three things we actually using subconsciously in different states of our emotions. Let's come back to that seminar, right, and talk about words. What kind of words were used there? Well, the new ones, right? Because the speaker was explaining the new topic and the person was using the words which were new to you. And the meaning of those words became so important that you started to put your what? Focus on. Exactly, because it was also interesting and you kind of leaned in. Therefore, you also use your physiology to you put all this effort to get yourself in this state, to open your mind, to strengthen your psychology and start soak in all this knowledge. And see how powerful it became? It lets you to commit to do that. Only if you would know how to prolong that state, right? That's how important those words are. What word did you use when you talked to those people when you were on the break in between, on the breaks and when the seminar was going? Probably some different words because you met new people, you wanted to look good and you looked like, and you used the words which you were thinking make you smart and stuff. Anyway, you were trying to manipulate with the wording and give the good meaning, to give the good impression, in front of someone. And that's how you elevated your state. At the same time, let's come back to that example where you were stuck on the problem and issue. What kind of words did you use? I'm not going to pronounce them. It would not be appropriate, I think, right? That's what kind of words were you using in your head, in your mind, all the time, all over again. As long as you were thinking and were stuck on that issue and that problem. And those words helped you to lower your state even lower and decrease your average temperature even lower. and get you into lowered state where very little is possible, where very little of action is present. All right? So you gotta become the master of these three things: to use your body, your physiology, to use your words and put meaning in them, and use your focus and beliefs to change your emotions by the snap of your finger and put yourself in a state where you will likely break through your fears and make an action. How powerful is that? Let's now dive deep and come up with the practical things which we can do to start mastering our skills in all those three pieces of this magic triangle formula, which I call it. And by the way, I have it here for you. Just want to make sure you also see it. You not only hear it, but you see it. And by the way, as you see and you take a look at this triangle, you see that your physiology is at the bottom. It's the foundation of anything else. First comes physiology, then comes your focus, and then come your words and your meanings. So take care of this physiology, and that's what we're going to do right now by actually start talking what are the practical methods you can change your physiology and improve your physiology with. Well, the first is very simple. One, you gotta start working out. You gotta go for sports. And I will explain you on my example. And I don't know if you have watched my videos on my social media profiles, which I strongly suggest because there are a lot of different and important information for you guys. I said that, I don't know why, actually I knew, I was just pretending saying that. I don't know why, but I am so eager to record those videos for you guys with these golden nuggets, as I call them, with these pieces of wisdom which I acquired throughout my life, especially after my workouts. Well, now we all know why. Because my workout have changed my what? Motion, the way I use my body. And that motion created a positive emotion. And now I'm elevated. I'm literally heated up. And in this temperature, I'm so eager to share with you. I'm so eager to give. I want to give. I want to share. And that's how you can also practice that, by actually starting if you're not working out. Obviously, there are a lot of different other benefits related to health overall, which we're going to be talking about, by the way, within this program during those next steps. But for today, just think about it. I just gave you the different perspective how to think about the working out. It's actually elevating your state and helps you to be in that state where you would rather make a step forward and take that action. Another piece of advice: you have to change your physiology no matter what. And even if you're not working out, you have this chance to do that with very simple tricks and hints I'm going to give you right now. Let's say you sit at your table and you work on something and you got stuck, right? And you feel that frustration and feeling of anger and you're upset. What should you do? You should stop doing that, stand up. And first thing, one of the exercises, stand in this power pose. Get your shoulders back, get your chest forward. Put your feet the way you want to put them, the way you feel you want to put them. Get your smile in your face, right? Put your chin up and stand in this pose. And imagine how you can quiet the world, or you solving that problem and it becomes so small you can just squish it, right? They're gonna help you and elevate your physiology and improve your physiology. Another way is turn your favorite music on and just start dancing, just start moving, just start expressing yourself like crazy, like no one watches and no one's seen ever before you doing. Just express yourself for 2 to 5 minutes, like sweat it out, even so hard. And that will help you to literally You know, they say, snap out of your state. Now you know what the actually snapping out means, guys. That means changing your state, elevating your state from your current temperature to the higher. By the way, I call that peak, well, actually I borrowed it from the mentors which are mentoring me. This calls the peak state. This 200 degrees, this is the peak state. You want to be in a peak state of your energy, peak state of your performance, peak state of your emotions. You want to be in a peak state all the time, most of the time, in order to succeed in life. And physiology is part of it. Another thing what you can do is, what I do is, I kind of stand up in my 2 feet and I kind of take this position. I'm about to run, but I'm actually standing at one place and I just, fold my hands here in elbows for 90 degrees and I just start pretending I'm running. I do these kind of movements and I do them for 2 to 5 minutes, like I'm literally sweating and cannot breathe, and this is like huge cardio and it snaps me out of any state I was previously in. Another hint and trick, I bought for myself, I purchased the trampoline, the inside trampoline, which I can actually bounce up and down on. This is the wonderful things which actually change your physiology and change your physical state. And then I come back and I can conquer the world. I forgot what was the problem, I forgot what was the issue. I concentrate I focus on the solution and I come up with the solution, and it becomes so easy, and I skip those states going through the anger, going through upsetness, frustration, anxiety, and so on and so on and so on. And I can do it multiple times during the day because it does not require gym. You can do it at your table, beside your table, under your table, over your table. Do it anywhere. Do it anywhere you are. Do it in the cafeteria, whatever. Because that's gonna improve your life. Does it worth it? Yes. Whether someone gonna smile or laugh at you what you're doing it somewhere in public, that's okay. But you are changing your state, and with this state you are better. You are making better of yourself. Isn't it more important than what someone thinks of you? I think it is. So those are my ways of how do I change my physiology. And I also kind of follow myself up. If I go and I talk to someone, if I sit in front of someone, if I create this kind of course and I'm talking to you, I make sure my shoulders are straight. I make sure my head is up. I make sure I'm doing movements. You see, I do a lot of movements, as you probably already have spotted. Maybe it's annoying for some of you guys, but this is my emotion. This is how I put myself into the state, because I want to be in this elevated state when I teach you, when I provide you with information, when I want to help you, because I am sure in this state I will be able to come up with the better content, with the better wording, with the better examples, with the better energy, and they're all gonna put you also in that same state, and you're gonna kind of inherit it, and then you're gonna get this momentum going forward. And I'm gonna do it in every single step. Do you see how much of physicality and physiology going on here? And by the way, with that, I'm not only impacting myself, I'm also impacting you in some way for 100%. Do you agree? Do you feel it? I hope you do. All right, let's get to another one, which is focus and beliefs. This is huge. This is big. I'm going to get a lot of details on that. You better write the notes, guys. So focus creates your reality, when actuality can be different. That means everything. That means you create anything you want with just putting your focus into that thing. Now, let's come back to that example which I have already listed for you and mentioned for you, those clothings and the car. As soon as we buy them, we see them, right? That's how our mind works, and I have explained you that becomes important to our mind. So we need to do things which will let our mind think they are important in order to put our focus on them. And the opposite is true. So what are those things? Well, one of the things I love, and I mention it in my videos all over the place, practicing gratitude. Waking up in the mornings and coming up with the things and imagining the things and feeling the things which you're grateful for, people which you're grateful for. remembering the moments of your life which you were proud of, which you felt the excitement about, and getting it all in, and remembering those feelings and going through those feelings and emotions. What it does with you, it elevates your state. It brings you those positive emotions because the moments you're proud of, the moments you're excited about, people you in love with, and things like that, they bring you joy. And therefore, they elevate your emotions. And emotions is the state, right? Another thing is true. As soon as you're going to start practicing gratitude, what else is happening? You let your mind know it's important to you because you start focusing on it. And what mind does? It brings more of it to you. What that means is, if you're having a bad day, right now, in your average state, you're just having a bad day. You see everything in gray colors. And you're not satisfied with your life overall just because of this one day. Right? But as soon as you got started focusing on the gratitude and practicing gratitude in the mornings or in the evenings, whatever you please, what you do is you put in the focus on and your mind thinks it's important to you, and the mind will help you even throughout those bad days to find something beautiful, to feel something beautiful, to remember something you're proud of, to remember something you were excited about or are excited about. And it will help you to snap out of that bubble of that world which you create for yourself by focusing on those negative feelings and things what may be happening at the moment in your life. It may become reality for you, although actuality is a little different. How powerful is that? So use that, practice gratitude, and the mind will help you to use it through the bad times. Another thing, set up the goals. The goal is the Northern Star. That's your focus. As soon as you're going to set them up, list them down. Remember them, work them, inventory them. What will happen is you will let your mind know it's important to you, and your mind will put all the focus and will try get it for you. The same way it got for you those cars which you started to see. The same way it got for you those clothes which you started to see. The same thing which you will get for you when you have a bad day, when you're going to see those things which you're grateful for. In that same way, your mind will help you to achieve your goals because it's going to get you there. It's going to create the thoughts in your head which will get you there. And plus, you will break through all the fears, all the obstacles on the way. So goals are huge. Plan. Those similars as the goals. Have a plan. Because if you have a plan, you have a goal, you have something to focus on, you have the structure, you have the system, and that's how you're practicing focusing. Right? Another one. Dream. That's how you practice your focus and also let your mind what is important for you. Just sit down and dream and imagine those things what you want to have in life. Imagine those feelings and emotions what you want to have as a result of it. And bring those emotions here, right now, because you can do that just with the power of your thought. Think of those things which you already have achieved, though they in the future. Think of those things which you already gotten, though they in the future. Think of those things which you want to feel and experience as an emotion by getting those things. Today, right now, get them all in and experience them. And you will and this is the way how will let your mind know what to focus on. And your mind will get you there and you will achieve the result, those goals. And the dreams will become true. That's how powerful your focus is. All right? I hope it's useful for you guys. We got last but not least, words and meaning. I'm going to give you an example right away. Those are basically our vocabulary, our words what we use and what kind of meaning we put in them, because meaning, remember, creates the feeling and emotions. Now, I will give you an example with words. and take the word problem. And I know it might be cheesy because everyone all over the world talking about, don't say problem, find the solution. And it became so cheesy that we stopped believing in it. But not me. I believe it and I use it all the time because I know the power of words and I know the power of meaning. Let's take an example. Word problem. Let's say you come to your family or you get to your team at work and now you say to your team, hey guys, please help me to solve this problem. What kind of message did you just give out? Let's just, analyze it a little bit. Well, first of all, what you said is, you want someone to help you to fix the problem. This is the key word here, right? The problem. What the problem associates with something negative. So what you just did is with yourself, first of all, and second of all, with all your family, if you're talking to the family, or the whole team at your working place, you just put their focus on what? The problem. That's how powerful words are. They make us focus on something which they mean. And the problem for us means something negative for majority of us. And we start to concentrate and put our focus in something which is the problem. Another thing, the way you said that, you were not probably that excited and you just, stormed in the room or in the office and just started to scream out, hey, I'm so happy and excited. Help me to fix that problem. Right? You're probably, hey guys, I have this problem there. Can you guys help me to fix it? Did you see what I did? My face has changed. My body has changed. My shoulders dropped. My head got lowered. And I'm kind of ashamed of that problem. And I want to get it fixed. And I want your help. What just did? With my physiology, I put not only myself, but also those people I'm talking to in that state, lowered state, which the breakthrough is less possible. The breakthrough through the fears is less possible. You feel it? I hope you do. So with only one word, you shift the focus of the whole group and yourself. You have changed the physiology of the group and yourself. And you put the meaning into the thing everyone has been working on right now as something negative. Now take a different group, or maybe that same group, but only different approach. What would it be if you would come out, if you storm into the room and say, guys, I found the place where we can create the better solution. Who is up for helping me? How different is that? I just said the same thing, only with different words and with different physiology. Did you feel that physiology? I actually stormed in the room. My head was up, my shoulders was up, my chest was forward. I was in this power and hero position, right? And I, trust me, gave that vibe to the whole room. They all now already elevated just by me entering the room and showing myself to the people and using my body, my physiology. And now they're all already excited. They don't even know what is it. Another thing I said, we want to come up with better solution. This is the key word and the meaning. We all competitive people. Who do you think want to create something better? Because it requires actually creating something new. How excited is that? And now you have put the focus of that whole group on the solution, on creating something better. They're going to be thinking about something better. Not the problem, but the solution, something better. Now let's take these two groups. One's group temperature has lowered so much, and the other's group temperature has risen so high. Where is the better and higher probability of succeeding? Here or here? I think the answer is obvious, here. That group still can come up with the fix, by the way, but how much time it will take them, in what kind of energy they will live, in what kind of emotions they will live and quality of their life until they solve their problem. That's what makes the whole difference. That's why those words are so important. I'll give you another example. I like then I asked someone at my work within my project. I asked someone, "Hey John, could you do this thing by Monday, please?" And John replies, "Yes, it will be done." Now let's analyze that. What did I say? I say, "John, can you," this is one of the keywords, "can you please do that thing by the Monday?" I gave the timeline. So I specified I want John do that, and I want to do it by Monday. I gave the timeline. So I had these words where I put meaning into. Now what John replied was, "It will be done." For majority of us, we would be satisfied with that answer, but not me, because I know the meaning of words. What he actually did is he gave himself the permission, and I'm sorry in front of all the Johns out there, it's just an example, guys. John gave himself the permission to be late or not do that thing at all. Why? Because look at, just hear this sentence out. It will be done. Does it specify who specifically will do that thing? It will be done. Well, somewhere, some creature will do that, right? That's how it sounds to me when I pay attention to the meaning. And the person, and then John, by the way, it's not his fault at all. Not at all. I'm not blaming him. That's his subconscious. That's his set of emotions and feelings, which are being created within his mind by listening and hearing those words, what I say, and giving them different meanings, which I trying to apply upon him by saying those words at him. And as a result, what John does, he gets this responsibility out of his shoulders by saying it will be done. So he's not going to be actually doing it. Well, he should, but in a way he gives him a permission to not. And another thing he does by saying that is he's skipping the timeline. He's rejecting the timeline. There is no timeline. It will be done. He didn't say it will be done by Monday. Okay? All right, I might go a little too deep in this example here, but I think you get this, right? The different meanings, the different words with different sayings we can pronounce and say to each other might make all the difference. So what I suggest you to do is to list all the words, and by the way, I call them parasites. Problem is one of them. All the words parasites which you have and use in your vocabulary. List them all and come up the same way you came up with the empowering beliefs for all your disempowering beliefs. Come up with the empowering words. Yes, empowering words for all those words parasites. Like problem is the solution, right? Like bad or good is maybe something in between, gray, and things like that. And you just list them. And what you do is you start using it in your vocabulary more often. Try to follow yourself up. Try to catch yourself saying that word and then fix yourself, fix that. And don't be afraid if someone will, feel weird by you saying one thing and then kind of rephrasing yourself. It's okay. It gives you the practice because everything comes with practice, with repetition. Repetition is the mother of any skills. Remember that. That's why you have to repetite all those 3 items we are talking about today. Right? So use those words, very wisely. And replace them with the empowering words, your words parasites. Another thing what you can do is you can learn more of new words and expand on your vocabulary. I will give you an example. It's my example from my life. At some point of my life, I decided to learn more about finance. And I knew what words mean and how powerful of the role words actually play in getting me into that state where learning of finance would become easier, a lot easier to me. And I would actually do that step and make that action, take that action towards learning the finance. So what I did is I put myself a goal to learn one word related to finance industry every single day until I become fluent in finance. I literally put the reminders in my calendar, and every single day my calendar reminded me to learn one more word. I would go to the Wikipedia, I would fish out the financial term, and I would start learning what that actually means. Things like balance sheets, cash flows, accounts payable, accounts receivable, you name it. 2 or 3 months after I started to do that, before I knew it, I was already using it within my vocabulary. And people from actual finance industries started to look at me as a professional, as the one of them, even though they knew a lot more than myself. But only just because of the words I used, I even changed their perception of me. And they started to be more flexible, more open to me. And that's how I could start learning from them even more, and they became our mentors, my mentors. That's again another angle of how to look at your words and the power of those words. All right? Okay, I gave you enough of examples here, guys. You have to practice it, because I will remind you, repetition is the mother of all the skills, and trust me, you have to have all these 3 skills in order to shift your emotion and change your state and put yourself in position to succeed. And only thing what you need to do is to practice your physiology, your focus and beliefs, your words, and the meaning what you put in them. Sounds good? Okay, let's recap the whole thing. Let's recap today's step. What did we learn in today's step? Well, we learned that we are the creatures and human beings that will beat all the odds, and even having the list of the actionable items, the actual things we need to do to change anything, we might still procrastinate. Even if we know in our case how to change our beliefs, how to change our actions, and how to expand our identity, we still might procrastinate and not do that. And the reason why is because we are fearful. We have these different kind of fears within us which hold us back and destroy our psychology. And those fears does not let us and prevent us from taking actions. How do we break through those fears? We learned we have to put ourselves in the strong state, in the position when we are rather to succeed than fail. And we call it state. And there are elevated states, and there are lower state, and there are average state. Our goal is to prolong and create this elevated state for as much time as possible, and we can do that by working with our emotions and our feelings and creating our emotions and our feelings. And we have learned today that there are 3 major things we need to do. The magic triangle formula right here, which will teach us of how to change our state and our feelings literally by the snap of our fingers. And those are the 3 things: your physiology, the way you use your body. How do you use your body? Whatever you feel, this is the way how you use your body right now, including your face. The way we focus on and work with our beliefs, and where do we put the focus on? The focus goes, the energy flows. Remember that. And the third thing we learned is we gotta be careful with the word what we say, because they all have the meaning, and that meaning creates the emotion. And by the way, all those 3 things, when we master them, we not only will benefit out of them ourselves, but all the people in the events around us and surroundings will benefit, because we will bring this physiology, we will bring that focus, we will bring those words in a way it's going to lift the energy up in the entire room, and it will create that beautiful bubble around us, the world of reality which we'll create for ourselves. And we can create any reality we want. It all depends on physiology of ours, how we use your body, focus, how much of attention we pay on that bubble we want to create around ourselves, and the words we use and we describe that bubble around us. Make sense? Okay, I hope it was useful. This is huge. As I said, 50% of my success depends on this formula. As soon as I learned that, my life just, started to go up like that, like a hockey stick. I mentioned it already before. And this is one of the reasons. This literally is one of my favorite steps in the whole program. Although every single other one gonna be even better. But this is the key, guys. And I'm gonna leave you today with number of questions which I think you need to ask yourself as a practice exercise to start working on the things which we learned today. And you're gonna have the list of this question in your membership area, don't you worry. Those questions are related to those three things. The first thing is, think about how do you gonna start using your body from now and on? What kind of practical things you're gonna implement into your life in order to be able to use your physiology? Will you start working out? Will you buy trampoline? Will you start coming up with some, just exercise, and will snap yourself out of the emotion which you are in and start just dancing around and being crazy just to shift that state? What will it be for you? Be specific. List all those things which you commit to do, and then start practicing them. Start actually doing them. Put them into your calendars. Put them into your notes. Implement them into your daily routine. Please do that. Your success depends on that, I promise you. Another thing, focus and beliefs. Well, we already worked with the beliefs, right? And now, hopefully you already got the list of the empowering beliefs and you came up with the actions which you need to perform. Well, by performing that action, you will be shifting that focus, and your body and mind will start focusing on those empowering actions which you came up with. So start implementing them into your daily routines, into your daily life. Put them on a calendar, put the time in, and you will get out of it. So find your ways of how will you change your focus. Maybe you will start practicing gratitude as I suggested. Maybe you will start putting the goals, and by the way, this is the perfect time to put the goals for the whole next year. Right? Maybe you will start planning better and have actual plans for your life. And most and foremost, maybe you will start, and I suggest you start dreaming more often, dreaming more vividly, and bringing those dreams and feelings of achievement and imagining like you have already achieved that, and bringing all those feelings and emotions here today, right now. It's going to elevate your state like crazy, and you're going to start going forward, and you're going to get your dreams done, and you're going to get your dreams realized. And the last but not least, create the list of those words parasites. All of them which you use. Create those ones which empower and overlap those negative words. And start putting them into your vocabulary, into your mouth. And correct yourself if you have used the negative one. Don't be correcting yourself. Don't be afraid of it, because you need to practice that, guys. You need to practice that. Learn some new words for your vocabulary related to the things which maybe you are working on right now. If you work in relationships, you're working on starting a new business, get in that field. See what the specific words from that field you can use and start learning them, and learn them and start using them. And they're going to create this elevated state which will help you to succeed in that area which you want to improve. So ask yourself those questions. Put them as a list. Work on them. Create more understanding. And use your body, use your focus, and use your words to change your emotions by snapping your fingers. And that will change the whole life. And that will let you get out of procrastination. Okay? All right, guys, I think it's enough out of me today. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the 4th step. Keep it up.